Welcome. My name is Evan Deal, and this is Living in Indianapolis, Indiana. Today, we are going to talk about what makes the Geist area of Indianapolis and Fishers so amazing. This beautiful area of Indiana is packed with nature and luxury living, and we're going to tell you all about it. But first, be sure to hit that like button on this video, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay in touch with this channel and get all the latest information on what's going on around the 317 in the Circle City here, and to stay up to date with all of our latest neighborhood news, area focuses, and just get all that straight into your feed. So with that in mind, let's dive in. So the first pro of living in Geist is all of the beautiful nature. If you like blue and green, Geist is the place for you. Everything along Fall Creek, which is one of the main drives around the reservoir in Geist, is just covered in trees. There are animals all over the place. There's deer, there's squirrels, there's all sorts of woodland critters up and down. All the cross streets and neighborhoods are just full of luscious old trees that have been growing for forever. And the whole area is just beautiful. In the fall, it's like somebody took a paintbrush and just painted every color of yellow, orange, and red. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. And the water is amazing. You have Geist Reservoir. There's two major reservoirs in Indianapolis, with Eagle Creek on the west side and Geist in the northeast. It's a beautiful man-made lake that is just crystal blue across it and surrounded by luxury houses. But the nature is nothing to sneeze at in Geist. It is absolutely fantastic. And there's trails that you can walk on as well. You have the Geist Greenway, you have the Geist Park Trail to get out and enjoy that nature as well without having to go too far. Not only that, but Geist sits right above Fort Harrison State Park, which is one of the very nice state parks in Indiana. It's like stepping completely out of the city, even though you're in Indianapolis, into the wild, where you have water and trees, and all of that backs up to Fall Creek, which is where one of the roads that wind around the reservoir. So just packed to the brim. If you're a nature lover, Geist is a great spot for you. The second pro of living in Geist, and probably what it's best known for, is the luxury waterfront living. If you are looking for luxury in and around Indianapolis, Geist is one of your premier options. The homes on Geist Reservoir sell for anywhere from around 1.5 million to multiple million. It really depends on the lot and depends on the house, but the houses on Geist are absolutely gorgeous. And they have kind of an interesting feature about them. You know, a lot of the luxury areas around Indianapolis, like if you go down into Bargersville and Center Grove, or if you're in Carmel, even in Zionsville, a lot of the homes are very large all the way around. The architecture of them is such that they are proportional throughout the house, so that it looks very, very large, like a mansion for luxury living. However, the homes on Geist, by and large, are very unassuming in the front. A lot of them are backed up on a court where you drive in on the road through the neighborhood and then go to the reservoir. But the front of them looks like a relatively unassuming house. However, the backs of them are really large, and they offer tremendous views of the wide open expanse of the water. So there's a couple different options for waterfront living. You can live directly on the reservoir, which you're getting the most scenic views. You're seeing everything there is, whether it's swans or ducks or geese, as well as all the boating, which I'll touch on later. But they have the best views. But in some ways, the other way is almost even more accessible. So a lot of the homes are on like inlets off of the reservoir, and these offer a touch more privacy, and a lot of them back up to private docks. So the ones that are on the water many times have a one-off dock that's associated with their lot, and the ones that are on inlets usually have shared docks. You see both of them around the reservoir, and some people keep their boats in the marina as well, of which there is one right in the middle of Geist. And the options for waterfront living are just spectacular in the area. The views are great. The homes are very, very nice. They do come with a higher price tag for the area, but that is to be expected in some of Indianapolis's more upscale areas. So I touched on it a bit earlier, but another one of the pros is that not only do you have the waterfront views and waterfront living within Geist, but there's actually this tremendous boating culture. So both the Indianapolis Sailing Club as well as the Indianapolis Yacht Club are present on Geist Reservoir. As well as the Geist Marina. So there is a ton of waterfront options, and you see so much activity during the boating months during the year. So in the winter, it's silent as can be. Sometimes it freezes over, but during the warmer months, there's boats everywhere and lots of waterfront fun. And it's one of the areas of Indianapolis that actually gets to have this sporting activity. You see it up on Morse Reservoir, you see it on Eagle Creek Reservoir, and you see it on Geist Reservoir as well. So the boating culture is alive and strong there. So in addition to the luxury homes that are actually on the reservoir, you do see more affordable options as well throughout Geist. And there are neighborhoods built all throughout the area. A lot of them were developed in the 80s and 90s, and they have larger lots compared to some of the new builds around Indianapolis. Not only do they have the larger lots, but they also have mature trees on them too. So the lots are at a premium in Geist compared to other areas within Indy, and you don't really see the new builds going up because it's already developed. You also have other luxury options besides the reservoir. If you're looking for more of a forested, without the waterfront, without that visibility to other homes, there are homes off of Sargent, there are homes off of Mud Creek that do fit that luxury criteria. A lot of them sit up high on a hill with a lot of forestry around them, and they're absolutely beautiful homes there as well. So if you like the trees, but maybe not the waterfront, there are options within Geist. Really, there's something for everyone. And the last of the pros that I wanted to touch on about Geist is that it's not fully isolated and it's not overly commercialized. So some of the areas around Indianapolis have been developed more for that commercial approach. You pop over a few minutes from Geist into Castleton, for instance, and there's any kind of store or infrastructure that you can imagine, right? There's something for everyone there in terms of commercial development, whether it's offices or there's a big hospital there. There's all sorts of businesses, retail, you name it. In Geist, the commercial developments are few and far between. There's enough that your day-to-day life in the community is really easy. So it's not hard to get to a grocery store or a gas station or a really great restaurant to eat at. But it's not overly developed, right? So there's not a major shopping area within Geist. It's not a destination area. So you have the conveniences of daily living without dealing with the traffic that can come with more commercial areas with bigger developments for businesses or even for large scale apartments. In Geist, it's much more scaled down, and there are sensibly placed pockets of commercial development scattered throughout the residential housing. So it feels more residential in nature without being cut off from everything. So one of the cons of living in Geist, if you're moving with a family or planning to have a family, are the potential school systems. It's not that they're bad. They're actually quite good in the area. It's that depending on where you live in Geist, you may fall into one of the higher rated school systems, or you may fall into a lower rated school system. So in the Fishers part of Geist, they are zoned for Hamilton Southeastern, which is currently the number 6 rated school system within the state of Indiana. So across the entire state, not just Indianapolis. But the Indianapolis side of Geist is zoned into the Lawrence School District, which is 147th currently. So there's a pretty wide disparity just a couple minutes away from each other, whether you live in the Fishers part or whether you live in the Indianapolis part. Now, I will say also in the area, there are quite a few of the absolute top ranked private schools in the Indianapolis area within about 15 minutes of Geist. Most of them are off to the west. You can pretty easily get to Fishers. You can get over to Carmel, into Castleton as well. And there are quite a few really highly rated private schools in the area as well. You can get over to Heritage Christian School, you can get over to Park Tudor, you can get to any of the schools in Fishers, as well as even if you want to stretch out a little bit further, the ones in Carmel as well. So there are options for both private education and for public education. But just know that you want to plan ahead on, depending on which school district you want to fall in, you may be looking at different areas in Geist or different neighborhoods. Another potential con of living in Geist is there's no true downtown. So I mentioned this earlier with how it's laid out with small commercial pockets and larger residential areas and a lot of nature areas. But what you don't see in Geist is a true walkable downtown. If you're looking for higher end living, but you want that more communal downtown feel with large arts districts or businesses all grouped together, the areas for that around the city would be like Zionsville, Carmel, downtown Indy, and there are other areas as well. But those are some of the ones that fit that criteria. But Geist is not like that. Geist is more nature-based, relatively light on the commercial development, and truly centered around that waterfront living. The primary feature of the Geist area is the Geist Reservoir. That is the gathering spot. That is the hub of activity. It's not so much a walkable downtown area. And the final con I have for the Geist area is that a lot of the homes are older, and many of them have been lived in for a long time because a high percentage of the population there just doesn't move. It really is a tremendous place to live. So you see a lot of single owner situations or people who have been there since the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s. And with that comes a lot of homes that come on market that do need updating. Now, the lots within Geist, since there's really very little new development in the area, especially from a community building standpoint, a lot of these homes have been around for a long time. The primary developments within the area were in the 80s and the 90s, and a lot of those original homeowners are only just now selling their houses. So this is very common within the area. So if you're looking to purchase within Geist, you're not going to find a brand new build. If you're looking for more new builds in the northeast side, you'll want to look maybe in Fishers or Noblesville, or even out in the area surrounding Geist, like McCordsville or Fortville. There are other options out in the northeast for new builds, but you're not going to find them in Geist. Really, the only new development in Geist are on luxury lots around the reservoir. I know Cambridge currently has lots available, and if you're interested in that, just let me know. So the only new builds you're really going to see around Geist are more on the luxury side. I know there are lots available within Cambridge currently, and there are new developments going up there. You're looking at $2 million and up homes there. There are waterfront lots still available around the reservoir, and they come at a high premium. Many of them being over $1 million for the lot itself to start, and then with certain requirements for the type of home that you put on the lot. And there are other lots nearby in the area as well in the woods, but they are few and far between. What you don't see in the area are brand new communities. So there is an opportunity for adding value to some of these older homes. And based on property prices in the area, I would expect that value to largely hold over time, given the premium for Geist lots. And this can even be a great thing because it gives you a chance to customize a house with in a mature neighborhood with old trees, but it gives you a chance to customize the house to your likings and to whatever you like in terms of modern standards within the scope of the more established community. So I hope this was helpful in giving you an overview of the Geist area. It is truly one of the premier places around Indianapolis in terms of luxury living, but there's a lot of affordable options as well too. Generally speaking, homes in Geist are above the median price point for the entire Indianapolis area, but there are a wide array of options in terms of price and types of home. So if you're interested in looking in this area, let us know. We'd love to help you find a home or explore this or other areas on the north side or all around Indianapolis. We have more Geist videos coming on this channel. Be sure to stay tuned, subscribe, hit that bell, and if you like this video, drop a like and a comment on this video below. Once again, I'm Evan Deal. This is Living in Indianapolis, Indiana. We can't wait to see you on the next one.